Okay. Hello, everyone who has joined us today. My name is Alena Martynenko. I am the CEO of Realting.com, and I'm super excited to introduce you one of the most famous persons in international real estate, Mr. Walid Moussa. Hello, Mr. Walid Moussa.
Hi, Alena. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for coming, and thank you for finding your time to come here.
It's my big pleasure and my honor to be participating today with you in this interview.
Oh, thank you. So we know that you are the founding president of FIABCI Arabic countries and the world president of the International Real Estate Federation for the years 2019 and 2020. So can you tell us something about yourself, your experience, and how did you manage to reach the highest results in real estate sphere?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me to be part of this interview. And I hope I will be able to give you all the info you need. I have started in the real estate business 15 years ago, establishing a brokerage and consultancy company called PBM. Then a few years later, I have founded a PIM Holding Group, a company that have under it real estate services and companies that handles brokerage, commercial real estate management, consultancy, real estate CRM, real estate fund management, as well as a portfolio of investments in different countries. At the same time, as you said, as you mentioned, I'm the world president of the International Real Estate Federation, FIABCI, for the years 2019 and 2020. And I'm the founding president of FIABCI Arabic countries, the Arabic chapter of the International Real Estate Federation, and the president of the Real Estate Syndicate in Lebanon now. So on a professional level and para-professional level, that's who I am.
It sounds really great. Sounds great. Do you have any interesting projects you're working on now?
Well, on the professional level, we are planning to expand our real estate business for the Arabic countries. And we're planning to do some developments in the suburbs area of London. And on the paraprofessional business, we are working on establishing a new association, regrouping all the real estate association of the Mediterranean country. So that will be announced in June, a new association for the real estate association of the Mediterranean countries.
Oh, it's really great. And if you are speaking about a global real estate market, what's happening to the different categories of the real estate sectors in the world right now?
Yeah, well, that's a big question. As you mentioned, in order to evaluate the real estate market worldwide, we need to divide it in different categories. If we start by the retail category, this category of the real estate sector really suffered, and we saw a lot of big retailers closing totally their business, such as JCPenney in USA in May 2020. Luxury brands couldn't afford paying anymore the rental dues in the high-end areas and the commercial centers. But on the other hand, we saw an expansion of the FMCG business, which is supermarkets and the pharmaceutical business. Which is very important here is to say that there should be a close relationship between landlords and tenants in order to settle the unpaid dues, because we still don't know what will be the future of those relationships, because we still really don't know what is the future of this pandemic. It's still unknown. We are getting vaccinated. Numbers are decreasing in some countries, increasing in other countries. But nevertheless, the future of the pandemic is still unknown. So in my opinion, landlords should always keep a close relationship with their tenants in order to find solution for the unpaid use of commercial real estate rentals. Now, if we jump to the hospitality sector, talking about hotels, restaurants, that category have suffered a lot as well worldwide. And until now, few countries have opened back for tourism or opened back their restaurants and their normal activities. Internal tourism have actually developed in a lot of countries because people were not able to travel outside their countries. They were traveling inside their countries. So they decided, and myself, I've discovered my country more during that pandemic because we were obliged to travel internally, which was not a bad thing. The business seemed to start again, but nevertheless, activity is still not the same. Demand on tourism and going to restaurant or traveling or going to resorts or establishing conferences, business conferences, is still not the same. It's still very low comparing relatively to before. Still are starting to pick up. Some countries now in Europe and in the world will be opening up in summer. We will see what will happen. But as you've noticed and seen in the news, some countries are having their peak and corona and COVID-19 infections. And there's still a lot of fear of traveling or getting far away from home. So let's hope that things will be more positive, and we need to wait and see. But nevertheless, this sector have really suffered during the last year. If we take them short-term rentals, a business like Airbnb, that's a business as well that's been really affected. And in 2020, the income of this company was 50% of its income in 2019. And they had to remove more than 35% of their employees last year. So you can imagine the big loss after 12 years establishing a great path and developing that company. Suddenly they had to live those difficult moments in the pandemic. There's no doubt that the world have changed and we needed to adapt. And that's the new word that I always say. People, businesses need to adapt on the new situation. If we jump up to the office category, there's no doubt that this as well is a sector that was affected by this pandemic, and the demand on offices is surely lower than before. And this led that the prices have decreased in that period. People are used more to work from their houses, to work online, to use many applications, to do their meetings, to protect themselves. But what's interesting here is that we are seeing that even with and you will see it later on, even with the end of the pandemic, we are going to notice that people will still like to work from home because this is less traffic, this is less expenses for the companies, less expensive for the employees. You don't have to be in the crowded metro to go to your work. You don't have to be in a room with 100 other employees. You don't have to be in the traffic for hours to get to your work. So those things are really important.
Yeah, it's almost very comfortable for people to stay home and to work and relax in their own schedule.
Actually, you can see my background here. You don't know even where I'm sitting. I could be sitting now in I don't know, in the street, and you are just watching me and seeing me with a nice background. And this is really professional, and it gives us the ability to be able to work worldwide. I'm doing meeting every day with people around the planet, and we had that technology before, but we didn't
use it so many.
We didn't know it works so good. So now look at you. You're talking to me. You're in Belarus. I'm in Beirut, and we're talking like if we were in front of each other. So so after that, there's no doubt that the demand on office will always be there, but it will be a different demand. It will, offices will be smaller, and the structure of the companies will be different, and they will have employees working from home, and they will have employees working in the office. So this is a sector that have to adapt on the new trend of working in the office. Now, shared offices is an interesting thing to talk about, because there's a lot of contact between people in the shared offices. I think that they should adapt their designs, their internal design, to give more independency to their clients, so they could work without being really putting others in danger, because this pandemic have affected us psychologically. So even when we watch a movie now and we see two persons getting closer to each other, we're like feeling that something's wrong. So I think that psychologically we will ask always to be a bit independent from other, and have our own space and not be really very close to others. And that's why I say that in the shared offices, we need to adapt our designs to give more independency to clients. If we go to the logistic and online business, that's an amazing story. So the sector has really flied during that pandemic. People sitting in their homes during the lockdown were used to use their mobiles and order everything online, do shopping online. So that's a behavior that we used to have it before, especially in some developed countries like United States and some European countries. The online business was very strong, but what happened is that business have developed even more in those countries and have penetrated other underdeveloped country, or let's say all the countries, most of the countries around the world. We have seen application popping up in all the countries in order to give us the choice to have online shopping. So that consequently will lead that there will be demand on warehouses and the logistics, because those people, when they want to deliver you your stuff, they need to stock it somewhere, and they need to create their logistic business in order to organize themselves to have the right delivery on time and let you enjoy this service. Because at the end, if you're gonna have online business without having the proper delivery system, that will lead to failure. So those companies are really working on having a very good logistics around the world, and a lot of funds and investments are investing in warehousing and logistics around the planet. They're penetrating new markets, and we can see that this business is really flying around the world. So finally, if we go to the residential sector, which is very interesting as well, because this have been as well affected positively during the pandemic. I will divide it into three sectors, three main sectors. What we call the primary homes. People now feel that the best place to live in is home. The safest place on earth is home. So psychologically, again, people want to own their own home. They want to have their homes and feel that they can be safe whenever they are in danger. That's from a side. And from the other side, we are experiencing historically very low interest on the credits. So especially if we're talking in developed countries like in Europe and the United States, the credits, the interest on credits is really, really low. So that's encourage people to invest and buy their primary homes. Now, the second category is the secondary home. Secondary home, people were obliged to stay in the country and not to travel. So they had to buy homes in their countries. So a lot of people have bought homes in the suburbs, in the mountains, on the beach, and to an extent that they call them false secondary home because they became primary homes. A lot of people went and stayed in the mountain or in the beach for very long time during the pandemic, and they're still there. I know some friends that are living in the mountains from a year. They love to be there. They feel safe, and they work from home, so they're enjoying their time. So the secondary home market really have been positively affected. Finally, the third category in the residential sector is the affordable housing. Affordable housing, now that people really understand or wants to have homes, the low income persons or category of people in each country are demanding affordable housing. And now government are being obliged to create policies for social and affordable housing around the world. And I was reading to a few days back, Saudi Arabia giving millions of kilometers to the Ministry of Housing in order to organize them and do some joint ventures with the private sector to create affordable housing for its people. So this will be coming, in my opinion, more and more affordable housing around the world. So that's in a very fast way, a brief about the sector around the world.
Thank you for your deep knowledges. Thank you. And I'm very interested about prices, about how have prices been changing in different countries during the pandemic.
Well, in some countries, prices went up and others went down. The difference between the two countries, when a country depends and have their own buyer depend on their own people that buys properties, the prices went up. We can say in the United States, we see that the prices went 25 to 30% up, in Turkey 25%, in Philippines 40%, in Germany maybe 50%, 15%, in Mexico 5%. Other countries like Egypt 17% down, in Portugal 25% down, in Greece 20% down, in Pakistan 4% down, in Puerto Rico 4% down, in Malta 3.5% down. So why? Because those countries are used having international investment, and since the pandemic has closed the countries, they've been negatively affected. And countries that have their own buyers inside the countries, like the United States, what's happening, for example, in the United States is crazy. Everyone says there's no inventory, low inventory. So there's a lot of demand, but there's the professional real estate professionals are not being able to have products to sell them to buyers. And plus, when you offer something now in the United States and in Canada or in Brazil, you offer it for a certain price, buyers come and put a higher price directly. Why? Because they want to secure. They know that there is, for each property, there is many offers, so directly they put a higher price. So for you to know how unbelievable is the situation in some countries in the residential sector.
Yeah, about residential sector, in which way the prices reacted in residential, I mean.
Yeah, I was speaking, all those prices were in residential.
It was about residential.
Yes.
Okay. Is it? Does it mean that that countries that have decreased prices are the best for invest right now, for your opinion?
Yes, yes. If you like, depends on your personality and what you want. If you like risk, that's the right time, because we always say in crisis there's always opportunities. So some people likes that and others don't like it. If you like that, I was working now, actually I'm still working with a group of investors to buy a property in Portugal. Why they went in Portugal? Because the prices were 25% down. So they went there and we put an offer a few days back on a big building on a prime location with a 25% decrease on the original price. Yes, and some other people like stability and prefer to go to countries where the property prices were still stable and prefer not to take the risk.
Oh, that brings me to my next question about investing in real estate. From your point of view, of which countries are the most, which countries are the most attractive for investors in time of COVID?
Well, it's still related to the last question, because depending of what you really like, what kind of investment usually attracts you as an investor or as a fund. If you want to go towards a country that is known to be, let's say, flexible with crisis, which means that is very sensitive to crisis, you can go to countries like Greece, Portugal, Malta, Egypt, those countries where the prices went down, depending where you're from and where you like to invest. If you like more stability and you like to say, I want more stability, you can go to countries like European countries, prime location like London or United States or France, Paris, southern France. Those are countries that are always very rigid. For example, New York have, during the last year, New York have experienced decrease in the prices, but that just stayed for a few months. Now that life is coming back, it's taking back its normal price. So there's some cities in the world that, even though it's pandemic, even though it's, what could happen, are always like rigid and can survive a big crisis, or the impact on them will be low comparing to other cities that fully depends on international investment and injection of international capitals.
Walid, thank you. So, in your opinion, which countries do you think are the best for earning money from residential?
Actually, I believe that the US market is now the best market to invest in, and the financial situation is really in a good position. Nevertheless, we really don't know what could be the future of the financial situation worldwide, including the US. So if things are like they are now, yes, I would say the US, and maybe I'm investing in the suburbs areas of London. There is a lot of demand there, and there's a strong market, and people need housing. But no one knows what is the economical situation hiding after that pandemic. We still, until now, inside this, let's say, era of time where each country is trying to do its best to maintain its economy strong. What will happen in the future after we finish from this crisis, I cannot predict it. Hopefully, things will not. I hope that things will not really be affected. But I think that we will live, let's say, a difficult situation after the pandemic, because people and countries and businesses needs to get back to reality and really see the real situation. Don't forget that countries, especially countries like Europe and in the United States, are subsidizing the businesses, and they are paying them money. So after that stops, we need to see what will be the new reality.
Yeah, for sure. And successful transaction is impossible without right realtor, right developer, trustable realtor or developer. And in your opinion, how can people find a reliable realtor or developer?
Well, actually, I will start by saying that they should be part of FIABCI, the International Real Estate Federation, because FIABCI is the umbrella organization for all real estate professions around the world. And you can be sure that whenever someone is into that family or that organization, you can rely on him whatever he's a consultant, broker, developer, property manager. And there's a really very interesting network inside this organization. It's present in 72 countries. And if someone needs any help in any country, he can contact me, and I can rely him to good professional people around the world through our FIABCI contacts or through other contacts. Now, if we put aside FIABCI, we have to make sure that the broker or the realtor that we are contacting is part of an organization that is licensed as part of a syndicate or organization like NAR in the United States, like REAL in my country, Lebanon. So you have to make sure that you have some qualification criteria in order to be trustable. And for the developer, it's very important to make sure that this developer is reliable. And that's why I always suggest, when you are investing in a new country, to really take the advice of a realtor or a consultant, because he will filter you the developers, and he will tell you which one is good and which one can deliver you the property that you are buying, and which one is not up to the level and not trustworthy. So that's my suggestion for them. Always pass by a middle person that can do that work for you. But at the same time, you have to make sure that this middle person is a reliable and trustable person. That's why I said search for people in FIABCI or organization or syndicates, people that have qualifications to give you those advices.
I really can't imagine how many contacts do you have in your international networking.
Well, I think I'm lucky. I'm lucky to have so many friends around the world, around the planet, and I cannot wait until that pandemic is over to be able to travel again and see them around the world. And I pray every day for them to stay safe. A few days back, we lost a very dear colleague, a very good professional, the past president of FIABCI Malaysia, from this pandemic, from COVID-19. So I really pray for my other friends around the world to stay safe and try to get vaccinated to protect themselves.
Yeah, I hope we will finish this difficult period of our lives. And coming back to investment, what advice you can give about choosing the right properties for investment?
Well, the right property for investment as well, depending your character or what are you, if you're talking about a person or your specialization of if you're talking about a real estate fund. Some people like to go now to commercial properties because the prices have really went down on commercial, and they think that it's the right time now to buy commercial properties. Because if you go back to 2 years ago, those properties were really high, and even the return was low comparing to their original price. And now they consider that if you buy them at that specific time, you will be able to, when things get back to normal, to have a higher return on your investment on the rental side. On the residential side, I think that we need, if we're investing in the residential business, to search for some areas in prime markets that are getting developed, like what I'm doing now, suburbs of London, because we know that the economy, the British economy, is strong, and there is a purchasing power for the people there. They can afford to buy houses. At the same time, you're going into areas that are getting developed and where the prices are still acceptable. Same for the United States. And you can as well take a higher risk and try to go and search for good opportunities and good catches in countries like Spain or Portugal or Greece that are still European, but at the same time, they have seen a drop in the prices because of the lack of international investment. And the Arabic countries, Dubai is an interesting place to invest, but you need to really know the market and to really know how to invest and what to invest. because there's a lot of offers in Dubai. And Bahrain is, if we're talking about the Arabic countries, could be an interesting place as well to invest in properties, because it's a good place to live in and to have some business. Saudi Arabia is having a lot of changes, and we're gonna see in the future a real estate boom there. People will be buying a lot of homes there. There's a lot of strategy for affordable housing, and they want to create new cities, new attractions. They're trying to really revamp the country in order to make it more fun and more, let's say, open to the international crowd, and even more attractive to their own people.
And how liquid are houses in different countries?
Well, if you talk about liquid, liquid means that when you need to sell them, you can send them right away, and that means that you need to be in prime markets where maybe the profits are low, but the properties are more liquid, which means Paris, London, New York, the capitals of these big countries are always stable, and they let you always have liquid properties. So when you talk about liquid properties, that means that you are talking about properties with low income and low return, but always sell them very fast.
And what do you think, which type of property is the most cost effective for investors? Hotels and restaurants, offices, residential, etc.
You want my opinion? I think that you have the residential, search for areas that need the residential properties, where there's a real need for people to have houses. And from another side, I can see service centers where the demand for the online, because we're seeing everything is getting online. So we need clouds. We don't have the clouds. When we talk about clouds, it's not the real clouds. The clouds are servers that are somewhere. And when we need to put those servers somewhere, and the service center for servers is a very interesting business now to invent in, and it's a booming business worldwide. And the healthcare could be a very interesting as well business to invest in, because after this pandemic, we see that that the most important thing in life is health, and we're gonna see in a lot of countries, a lot of policies will be concentrating on health, and people will be even psychologically more attached to their health, and they will always like to be to keep their health, to keep themselves healthy. So the health sector is an interesting sector to invest in. So that's my my opinion and my suggestions.
Thank you, Walid. So speaking about the COVID, we all praying about our best future, about safe lives, and could we speak about expectations in 2021? In 2021, what are your expectations about investment?
Well, to be honest with you, it's difficult to have expectations, and because the future is uncertain, and we still don't know what will happen to the world with this pandemic. We still don't know if we need several shots after our first vaccination. We still don't know if this virus will get to an end in a year or 2 or 3 or 4. If we are going to still put a mask, or we're going to remove it. A few days back, we heard that the US president have said that people with the vaccination are able to put their mask. But is this the case after a few months where you will need back your shot or your vaccine? So I cannot really predict. For what will happen in the future, because things are related. I cannot from now predict on the retail business or the commercial business or the office business if I really don't know what is the future of the pandemic. But what is sure that the residential market will stay strong. The demand on housing will stay, let's say, better than other sectors, and healthcare and warehousing, logistics, and service centers for servers are could be interesting areas to invest in. But again, we're taking. I'm basing my prediction on the actual situation. We really don't know what could happen, in which way the economy can shift, and what could happen to the world. We can have a lockdown again, and that have happened many times, having lockdowns one after the others, because we don't understand sometimes how this pandemic could, where this pandemic could take us. And the problem is those changes that are happening in the viruses. We can see the Indian virus, the Brazilian, the American, the British. So let's wait and see, and try to live the moment, let's say, step by step, and not really predict for a long time. We cannot predict for a long time.
And in this case, in your opinion, is it really profitable to invest now?
Yes, if you know how to invest, and if you take my in consideration the advices that I gave today, you will be able to invest and to make money, but you need to know how, where, and in which sectors.
Yeah, for sure. And how international real estate companies have been affected by the pandemic? What do you think about this?
To be really proud, I can say that the real estate sector was one of the sectors that was less affected by this pandemic. Now, there is for sure, if we include the hospitality sector, because it's totally linked to tourism and to traveling, that sector was really badly affected. But in general, and if we speak about especially in the residential, which is the biggest part of the real estate business, was not really affected. If we talk worldwide, in some countries there was a drop, like I've mentioned, but generally talking, the residential real estate sector was positively affected, and the real estate companies that are into development were not really affected by this pandemic. If you talk about retailers and commercial real estate, the story is different here. Yes, some retailers, not real estate companies, some retailers have closed their businesses, and that affected indirectly the landlord of commercial properties. But nevertheless, those properties will always have value and will be able to be rented back again, and business will continue.
Thank you. And this is one more question which connected with COVID and our expectation about this year and about future. Do you really think real estate transactions move to online mostly, or it's just a kind of fantasy?
Usually fantasies become reality. So whatever people have dreamed of mostly become reality. And the real estate business have shifted into technology in the last years. And even the companies cannot work now without their real estate CRM that is linked to their website, to their social media, to their portals. So for sure, as a professional, I can tell you, technology is a very important tool in the real estate business. So, as for the marketing, especially now that people cannot travel, cannot attend conferences, cannot go by himself, the portals and the social media is playing a very important role to be able to market our products. You can reach someone that is living thousands of kilometers far from you in his bed, just by using the right portal or the right social media and advertising your property. You have to know who to target. You have to know with which portals you need to work, which social media to use, and which product to offer. If you know those four, you combine them, you will be able to find your client abroad. And very interesting stuff have happened, especially with Matterport application, one of the application that gives you like a 3D visual of the homes, where you can enter and see the homes and online and decide. And a lot of transactions have been made because of that application. We don't want to make publicity, but that's a reality, that people have been using such application and they've succeeded to sell properties using technology and face by face, using the right marketing tools, such as the right portals, such as Realting, as your company, because that's one of the very important portals in your area that attracts a lot of customers. So using the right portal, then using the right social media, putting the right product, choosing your client, targeting a specific client. Then when you get leads, you have to make the right presentation, using the right tools in order for him to be able to see the property even without being able to travel. Now, most of the people still like to feel and to see the property, but this will be the last step, where someone now can travel and check on the property that he liked online and finalize the deal.
Thank you so much. And maybe you have some other advices for your colleagues in such difficult times, I mean.
Well, first of all, I really advise them to get vaccinated. Very important to get vaccinated. If they're not vaccinated, they have to be careful and always take precautions, social distancing, wearing masks. As per the business, always believe in the real estate business. The business of the real estate will never disappear. Real estate is comes from everything disappears, but the real estate stays there. Our land will stay there. So always believe in the real estate sector. There's always ups and downs in the market. We are lucky now that in the residential sectors, mostly in most of the countries, the sectors were really rigid and resisted this pandemic. So it's normal that in some other countries, businesses were not as good as others. So there's always ups and downs. Always believe in the sector. Always work on yourself. In time of crisis, there's always opportunities. Times of crisis, you always have to reorganize yourself, because when you're working, you have no time for reorganizing your work and your company and your structure. So always work on yourself, educate yourself, know how to use the technology, know how to use the social media, know how to use the online business, try to find courses locally and internationally, and always be positive.
So strong advices. I feel so many energy from your words. And finally, maybe you can tell, in addition, how can realtors attract customers in such complicated time?
Well, as we have mentioned, always use the online business, especially now. Use your social media, use portals. Realting is one of them. Depending on the area you live in, you have to choose the portals that will find the clients that you need. And the online business is, thanks God, we have. You can imagine if this pandemic had happened 20 years ago, you will not be able to.
Yeah, the market could die for sure.
Yes, will be sitting at home, maybe in the newspapers. So some people will be reading 2 lines about the property for sale, and that's it, because they will not be able to go out to see it. So we're lucky to be in that specific time and have all this technology and to be able to market our products online and using technology and new tools.
Thank you, Walid. So what you mentioned about are the most effective marketing channels, right? Or you may add something else.
I've said everything, I think, and if you want, we can keep always on updating your crowd, and we'll be updating them with new information, new markets, new tools every month. That's a great way of collaborating between me and Realting.com. And it's always a pleasure to be working with great professionals like you. And I'm proud to be your friend and the friend of Realting.
Oh, thank you so much, Walid. I'm really proud too, because I see you're not only one of the most famous persons in real estate. You are a person with a great amount of energy. You are a great example for those people who are starting their career, maybe who are looking forward to do the best, to do a lot, and such kind of people. Really impressed, and gave us, all of us, a vision. How can we develop ourselves? How can we develop our market? And how can we make people more happier with our products, with our businesses? Because we do just for this, to make this world better place on a planet, for sure. So thank you, Walid. And finishing our conversation, I'm very appreciative for your time. And I hope that thanks to your interview, a lot of people will find the best properties in best places, with the best people, professional, people in real estate. And hope it is not only our interview, and it will be a lot of topics we can talk about in future, when technologies, when businesses will grow up, and something new will go to the market. Thank you, Walid.
In any case, I'm available on all social media. If people have some question, needs to ask me any question, needs to have any demand in any country around the planet, they can send me a message on my inbox and Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, I'm Twitter. I'm available everywhere, and even sometimes I get invited to Clubhouse to have some interventions. So real estate is my business, but at the same time, I'm lucky to have my business as my passion, because real estate is my passion as well.
Thank you so much. And if our viewers have any questions and really need any advices in investing in international properties, yes, please go to places where Walid mentioned. And by the way, you can use our channels, realting.com. If you will ask us, we will redirect your questions to Walid. And I hope together we will help people to buy their best properties. Thank you, Walid. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Stay
Bye.
safe.